Hi guys, welcome back to XNU, and today let's talk about things that you should take note of. You should take note of before you purchase a property. All right. So this is in a context that you are living and working in Singapore, and maybe you want to get a property for yourself. First point, reason for buying your first property. Different people have different reasons lah, right? For some, it's an investment property where you buy the property, then you rent it out, and you keep it for a few years. Once it appreciates a lot, you sell it at a higher price, right? Or the second most popular decision is to settle down, right? To have a family, to have kids, and most parents also would like to have their children to go to a certain school, right, in Singapore. So then they buy a property closer to that school in the hope that their children would be able to go to that school. Okay. One unconventional reason is also that people buy these properties, residential property, to live in them, but then to rent out the rooms in that property. So it's kind of like house hacking in America, and typically this type of properties, their own rental will pay off the mortgage, so you are essentially living in the property for free. Okay, so that's reasons for buying. Yeah, Marina Bay is behind me, looking majestic as usual. All right, so residential status. So in Singapore, this is very important because there's a huge difference between a Singaporean citizen, a Singaporean permanent resident, and also a foreigner. Okay, so as Singaporean citizens, you will usually get a lot of benefits lah when purchasing property in Singapore. Okay, because first thing, there is no additional buyer's stamp duty for you guys, and if you buy public housing, which is the Housing Development Board flats, there is a lot of subsidies, right? You can get up to 160,000 Singapore dollars worth of subsidies. Singapore citizens and Singapore permanent residents are the only ones that can purchase Housing Development Board flats, which are HDBs. To purchase a flat, you have two conditions. You need to be 35 and above, or you need to get married, right? You need to get married means you need to have a partner lah to purchase, right? Foreigners can't buy Housing Development Board flats, but they can buy private property, right? Private property like condominiums, apartments. Foreigners can buy that, all right? But foreigners have an additional buyer's stamp duty of 20%. That's a lot, 20% tax on top of the purchase price. So you generally gonna purchase a property about $200,000 more expensive than a Singaporean citizen. So yeah, that's a fact lah. All right. So that's why residential status, it plays an important part lah when you purchase a residential property in Singapore. Now, let's go to affordability. Affordability means how much you can purchase lah, your budget to buy the property. All right. Okay. How to know this budget? Typically, people think that to buy a property you need a deposit, right? But deposit only plays a small, tiny amount of role in the purchasing of a property. Okay, why I say this? Because typically you would need 5% to 10% deposit for a property, right? So where does all the 90 to 95% of cash come from to purchase the property? Of course, it comes from the bank, right? That's why you get a mortgage. How would you know how much you can borrow from the bank to purchase a property? All right, so typically you would need to get an AIP or IPA, depending on which bank you ask from lah. All right, AIP means approval in principle. IPA means in principle approval. It's the same thing generally. So this is depending on the bank, they will award you a certain amount of cash that you can borrow. So if you get a salary, you get paid in Singapore or you get paid anywhere, right? And then you want to ask how much you can afford, you can just go to the local banks. There are 3 famous local banks here. Maybe I can show you. Yeah, okay. So behind me, you can see there, that's DBS Bank. You can go to DBS Bank. You can also go to UOB or OCBC Bank. All right. These are the 3 local banks in Singapore that are the most popular. And from them, you can ask your loan AIP or IPA. Okay. That's affordability. Oh my God, so long on affordability because it consists 75% up to 90% of the property, right, that you are purchasing. So it's a huge amount, and it's something that people overlook usually. So that's what you have to focus on, because the next topic, which is CPF and cash, Central Provident Fund and cash, all right, it plays a small amount in the purchase of property, right? Okay, next thing, CPF and cash. Okay, CPF. What is CPF? Central Provident Fund. So it's a retirement fund scheme by the Singapore government for all Singaporean citizens and Singapore permanent residents. Okay. Okay. Now, why is it important? Because to purchase your property in Singapore, 20% of it can be paid by CPF. Okay, even your stamp duty can be paid by CPF. Then the cash amount would only be 5%, right? 5% is not, I would not say it's a small amount, but then it's doable. All right, you can save this 5%, or you can be more creative in resourcing this 5%. In an effort to make you guys understand more, these are some of my notes. So the usual bank loan for a residential property is 75% maximum. That's the maximum amount that you can borrow or mortgage from the bank. Then 20% is using cash or CPF, and 5% cash. Then that would make 100% of the total property price. Here's a short example of a couple purchasing a private property in Singapore. So Mr. and Mrs. Lim shop around and they decided to purchase a condominium unit for 1 million Singapore dollars. So from this 1 million, 75% or 750,000 will be financed by the bank, also known as a mortgage. Then the next 20% or $200,000 will be paid by CPF or cash. Then the final 5% or $50,000 will be paid by cash using Mr. and Mrs. Lim savings. Now let's go to the 5th and last one, like the types of property. So if you have been listening all this while, you can likely purchase a public flat, HDB, BTO, all right, or you can purchase a private property, which is typically a condominium or apartment unit, as your first property in Singapore. Okay, I'm not talking about those people who are the top, 10%, which are like freaking rich, right, in Singapore, but I'm talking about like all of us, most of us, the 80% that just want to purchase a property to stay and live in. Okay, so that's all for this video. Hope you guys like this type of video. I don't know, I just trying something new. Smash that like button and subscribe if you like videos like this. See you guys again next week.